1. The history and origins of the placebo effect in medicine. You might be surprised to learn that the placebo effect has quietly woven itself into the fabric of medicine for centuries, like a subtle thread holding together a tapestry of healing. Long before modern science gave it a name, healers across cultures recognized that belief and expectation could influence the body's response to treatment. Picture ancient shamans handing out herbs or village doctors administering tonics. The rituals themselves often carried a power beyond the ingredients, a kind of hopeful alchemy that reassured the patient and stirred the mind into action. In the 18th century, the term placebo emerged from the Latin for I shall please, originally used to describe treatments given more to comfort than to cure. Over time, researchers began to notice something extraordinary. Even when a pill was nothing more than sugar or water, people often improved simply because they believed it would work. It's as if the mind, when embraced by trust, can nudge the body toward wellness. This isn't deception or trickery. It's a testament to the intricate connection between thought and healing, a reminder that care and compassion are often as vital as the medicine itself. 2. The neuroscience behind the placebo effect, brain mechanisms at work. You might be surprised to learn how much your brain can shape your body's experience, even when nothing tangible has changed, like the way a vivid dream can make your heart race, even as you lie perfectly still. This is the quiet power of the placebo effect, where belief alone can ease pain, lift mood, or even slow a racing heart, all because your brain expects relief and responds as if it's real. Think of it like a gentle conductor, orchestrating a symphony of signals, dulling discomfort here, releasing calming chemicals there, simply because it trusts the suggestion of healing. Neuroscientists have found that placebos light up the same pathways as actual treatments, like a shadow mimicking the steps of its source, proving how deeply expectation is woven into our biology. It's not just in your head in the dismissive sense. It's a testament to how your mind and body are partners, constantly whispering to one another. So the next time you feel better after a kind word or a reassuring ritual, remember, your brain is simply doing what it does best, turning hope into a quiet, healing force. 3. How expectations influence healing outcomes. You might not realize it, but the expectations you hold about healing, whether physical or emotional, can shape the outcome in ways as subtle and powerful as a river carving through stone. If you believe your recovery will be slow and fraught with obstacles, your body and mind might respond by bracing for struggle, like closing the shutters before a storm. On the other hand, if you approach healing with a sense of trust and openness, even in the face of uncertainty, you create a mental landscape where progress feels possible, like sunlight filtering through a dense forest. This isn't about ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It's about nurturing a mindset that allows for hope and resilience to take root. Just as a garden thrives when tended with care and patience, your healing process can flourish when supported by gentle optimism. Remember, expectations don't dictate everything. Life has its own rhythm, but they can guide how you move through the journey, turning what might feel like an uphill climb into a path you walk with a steadier heart. Trust that even small shifts in your perspective can ripple outward, quietly shaping the way you heal. 4. The role of belief in pain management through placebos. You've likely heard of placebos, those seemingly harmless treatments that somehow ease pain without any active ingredients. But have you ever paused to wonder why they work? At its heart, the power of a placebo lies in your belief. It's as if your mind, when convinced that relief is on its way, opens a door for your body to follow. Imagine your brain as a conductor, orchestrating a symphony of responses, releasing calming chemicals, dialing down discomfort, and shifting your focus away from the ache. This isn't magic, it's science, gently reminding us of the profound connection between what we think and how we feel. Belief becomes the bridge between expectation and experience, and in that space, even a sugar pill can turn into a quiet ally. Placebos don't promise to erase pain entirely, but they can soften its edges, like turning down the volume on a persistent noise. They invite us to consider that perhaps healing isn't just about what's in the medicine bottle, but also about the trust we place in the process itself. And sometimes, that trust alone can be enough to lighten the load. 5. Placebo effects in treating anxiety and depression. You know, sometimes the mind has a way of surprising us, like a sturdy bridge that appears just when we need it most, even if we didn't see it being built. When it comes to anxiety and depression, the placebo effect can feel like that bridge. It's not about tricking yourself or pretending everything is fine. It's more like the quiet power of belief, that gentle nudge that reminds your brain it's capable of healing. Imagine it as a small seed of hope planted in the soil of your thoughts. Even if the treatment isn't real in the traditional sense, the very act of believing in it can unlock something real within you. A shift, a release, a quiet opening. It's as though your mind, when given the chance, can turn the flicker of a candle into a steady light. This doesn't mean the struggle isn't valid or that it's all in your head. It just means that healing can come from unexpected places. Sometimes, the act of trusting in something, whether it's a pill, a practice, or a person, can be the first step toward finding your footing again. And that, in itself, is a kind of magic. 6. The placebo effect and its impact on chronic illnesses. Content generation failed for the placebo effect and its impact on chronic illnesses. 7. Ethical considerations in prescribing placebos. You find yourself standing at the crossroads of trust and healing, where the decision to prescribe a placebo feels like walking a tightrope between benevolence and deception. It's a delicate balance, like offering someone a glass of water you know is empty, but hoping the mere gesture might quench their thirst. On one hand, placebos can unlock the mind's remarkable power to heal, a gentle nudge toward relief when other options feel out of reach. Yet, on the other, withholding the truth risks eroding the sacred trust between patient and caregiver, a bond as fragile as a spider's web, easily torn by even the slightest dishonesty. Ethical prescribing, then, becomes less about the pill itself and more about the intention behind it. Are you guiding someone toward hope, or simply pulling the wool over their eyes? The answer lies in compassion, transparency, and the humility to recognize that healing isn't always found in a bottle. Sometimes, it's in the quiet honesty of saying, I don't have all the answers, but I'm here to walk this path with you. 8. The placebo effect in clinical trials. Implications for drug testing. You might find it fascinating how the mind can weave its magic into the fabric of healing, even when the medicine itself is nothing more than a sugar pill. This is the placebo effect, a phenomenon where belief alone can spark real changes in the body, as though the mind whispers to the cells, it's time to feel better. In clinical trials, it's like a ghost in the machine, silently shaping outcomes and challenging the way we test new drugs. Imagine a group of patients receiving a new treatment. Some get the actual drug, while others unknowingly receive a placebo. Yet, remarkably, those on the placebo often report feeling improved, sometimes even as much as those on the real medication. This isn't deception, but testament to the power of hope and expectation. For researchers, it's both a puzzle and a guide, reminding them to account for this mental alchemy when evaluating a drug's true effectiveness. It's as if the placebo effect holds up a mirror, reflecting the intricate dance between mind, body, and belief. In understanding it, we uncover not just the limits of medicine, but also its boundless potential. 9. Cultural differences in placebo responses. You've probably noticed how a warm cup of tea can feel like a hug from the inside. But did you ever think about how differently people might respond to that comfort based on where they come from? It turns out, cultural differences shape how we experience the placebo effect, those moments when our minds convince our bodies that something inert, like a sugar pill, is healing us. Think of it like this. If belief is the thread weaving through the placebo response, then culture is the loom that gives it color and pattern. In some cultures, rituals, symbols, or the authority of healers carry immense weight, amplifying trust and expectation. Picture someone sitting quietly in a temple, filled with faith that the incense and chants will bring relief. That's a deeply rooted placebo response at work. Meanwhile, in cultures that lean heavily on science and technology, a clinical setting or a white coat might be what unlocks that same mental shift. It's fascinating, isn't it? Our minds are like softly glowing lanterns, and culture shapes the light they cast. Understanding this reminds us that healing is as much about the story we tell ourselves as it is about the medicine we take, a gentle reminder of how beautifully connected we are to the world around us. 10. The role of conditioning in the placebo effect. You might not realize it, but your mind is like a finely tuned instrument, shaped by every experience, every expectation, and every subtle cue it receives along the way. When it comes to the placebo effect, conditioning plays a quiet but powerful role, like a gentle hand guiding your thoughts toward healing. Imagine you've taken a pill. It looks like medicine, it feels like medicine, and everything around you reinforces the idea that it should work. Over time, your brain starts to associate these cues with relief, much like how the smell of freshly baked bread might instantly make you feel comforted. It's not just about the pill itself, it's about the story your mind tells itself, weaving together trust, hope, and past experiences into a tapestry of belief. And here's the beautiful part. That belief can trigger real changes in your body. Your heart rate might slow, your pain might ease, or your mood might lift, because your brain, convinced by these familiar signals, rallies to help you. It's a quiet reminder of how deeply interconnected your thoughts and body are, and how much power lies in the simple act of believing. 11. How placebo effects mimic real treatments. You sit there, wondering how something as simple as a sugar pill could ease pain or lift a heavy mood, and the answer lies in the quiet power of your own mind. Imagine your brain as a storyteller, always weaving tales about what's happening to your body, and sometimes it doesn't need much to be convinced. When you believe a treatment is real, your mind can summon real changes, like a gentle hand calming a stormy sea. It's not that the placebo is magic, it's that your expectations, your hope, can nudge your body toward healing, like sunlight coaxing a flower to bloom. This doesn't mean the relief isn't genuine. It's just coming from within you, not from a pill or potion. Think of it as your mind and body dancing together, moving in sync to a rhythm of belief. And isn't that a comforting thought? Even when the world feels uncertain, you carry this quiet ability to soothe yourself, not because you're fooling yourself, but because you're tapping into something deeply human. The way trust and care can sometimes be the most powerful medicine of all. 12. The power of positive thinking in placebo healing. You might not realize it, but your mind holds a quiet kind of magic, a gentle power to heal, not with potions or pills, but with the simple belief that something good is happening. Think of it like a seed planted in soft soil. Even if the seed is just a harmless sugar pill, the warmth of your hope can coax it to sprout, sending tiny roots of relief through your body. This is the heart of placebo healing. The way your thoughts, like invisible hands, can soothe aches, calm storms of worry, or even mend what feels broken. It's not about tricking yourself. It's about trusting that your body and mind are partners in healing, whispering to each other in a language older than medicine. When you lean into kindness, when you expect comfort instead of fear, your nervous system listens, softening like a sunset, easing the day into rest. Science may call it a placebo, but you've felt it before. The way a loved one's voice can untangle your tension, or how a deep breath can feel like opening a window in a stuffy room. It's real, it's yours, and it's proof that sometimes the gentlest thoughts are also the strongest medicine. 13. Placebo responses in children and adolescents. You might wonder how something as intangible as a belief can shape the well-being of a child or teenager, but the placebo response is a gentle reminder of the power of the mind. Imagine a child clutching a bandage after a scraped knee. Just the act of tending to it, even without medicine, can soothe their pain because they trust it will help. In children and adolescents, this trust is amplified. Their world is still shaped by innocence and openness, making them particularly receptive to the idea that something, even if it's just a sugar pill or a kind word, can heal them. It's like how a soft light in a dark room can ease their fears. It's not the light itself, but the comfort it brings. Studies show that younger minds often experience stronger placebo effects, perhaps because their imaginations are still vivid and their expectations are less clouded by skepticism. This isn't about tricking them. It's about understanding how hope and care can be a bridge to feeling better. In a way, it's a testament to how deeply connected their emotions are to their physical experiences, reminding us that sometimes healing begins with a simple, heartfelt reassurance. 14. The placebo effect in alternative medicine practices. You might find it fascinating how the mind can weave its own kind of magic, especially when it comes to the placebo effect in alternative medicine. Imagine sipping a cup of herbal tea, feeling its warmth spread through you, and already sensing a quiet calm, even before the herbs have truly taken effect. That's the placebo at work, a gentle reminder that belief often walks hand in hand with healing. It's not that the remedies themselves lack value, but rather that your expectation, like a soft breeze nudging a sailboat, can steer your body toward feeling better. Sometimes, the ritual of care, the soothing voice of a practitioner, the comfort of a familiar routine, becomes its own medicine, stirring a quiet hope that things will improve. And isn't it remarkable how that hope, fragile as a dandelion seed on the wind, can sometimes take root and bloom into real relief? It doesn't mean the healing isn't genuine. It just means that the mind, in its wisdom, knows how to meet the body halfway. So whether it's a whispered affirmation or the gentle pressure of acupuncture needles, the power of trust and attention is never something to dismiss lightly. 15. How placebos affect the immune system. You might find it surprising how your body can respond to something as simple as belief, like a quiet whisper that somehow stirs a storm within. When you take a placebo, thinking it's medicine, your immune system can actually shift gears, as if it's been given a gentle nudge in the right direction. It's not magic, but rather the power of your mind and body working in harmony, like two dancers who've learned to move as one. Stress and expectation play their parts, too. When you believe you're being cared for, your body often relaxes, and in that calm, your immune system can focus better, like a gardener tending to plants without distraction. Studies have shown that placebos can sometimes reduce inflammation or even boost defenses, not because the pill itself does anything, but because your brain sends signals, soft, invisible threads, that guide your body toward healing. It's a reminder of how deeply connected your thoughts and physical health truly are, like sunlight reaching into the soil, encouraging seeds to grow. So even when the remedy is pretend, the hope behind it can be very real. 16. The role of the doctor-patient relationship in placebo effectiveness. You might not realize it, but the bond between a doctor and patient is like a quiet current beneath the surface of healing, sometimes invisible, yet powerful enough to shape the journey. When a doctor listens with genuine care, when their words carry warmth and their presence feels steady, something remarkable happens. The mind begins to trust, and the body often follows. This isn't just about medicine or science. It's about the subtle magic of feeling seen and safe. A placebo, after all, isn't merely a sugar pill. It's a symbol of hope, and that hope grows stronger when handed to you by someone you believe in. Think of it like a gardener tending to a plant. The right words, the right tone, can be as nourishing as sunlight, encouraging the body to lean into its own capacity for repair. The best healers understand this, that their role isn't just to prescribe, but to awaken confidence, to create a space where healing feels possible. And sometimes, that alone is enough to tip the scales. 17. Placebos and their impact on gastrointestinal disorders. You might be surprised to learn how much your mind can influence your body, especially when it comes to something as delicate as your digestive system. Think of it like a gentle ripple on a pond. The mere belief that a treatment will work can send calming waves through your gut, easing discomfort even if the pill you took was just a sugar tablet. This is the power of placebos, and while they don't cure disease, they often soften the edges of symptoms like bloating, cramping, or nausea, simply because your brain expects relief. It's as if your body leans into the suggestion of healing, like a flower turning toward the sun. Studies have shown that for some people with irritable bowel syndrome or other gastrointestinal troubles, placebos can bring real comfort, sometimes as effectively as medication. There's a quiet beauty in this, the idea that hope and trust can soothe your stomach as much as any chemical. It reminds us that healing isn't always about what's in the pill, but what's in the mind, and sometimes that's enough to tip the scales toward feeling better. 18. The placebo effect in sports performance and recovery. You might think the mind and body are separate players in the game of performance, but they're more like dance partners, moving in sync even when you're not aware of it. Take the placebo effect, a quiet whisper of belief that somehow convinces your muscles to push harder, your pain to fade faster, or your stamina to stretch further. It's not magic, though it can feel that way. Imagine a runner told their new shoes will make them faster. Even if the shoes are ordinary, their stride might lighten, their pace quicken, because expectation has a way of weaving itself into reality. The same goes for recovery. A pill with no active ingredient can ease aches as effectively as medicine, simply because the mind trusts it will. This isn't about tricking yourself. It's about honoring the subtle power of hope and perception, like a gentle current beneath the surface, guiding you forward. So next time you lace up or rest up, remember, what you believe matters, not just in your thoughts, but in the very fibers of how you move and heal. 19. How placebos influence sleep quality and disorders. You might be surprised to learn how much your own expectations can shape the way you sleep, like a quiet whisper that convinces your mind it's time to rest. Placebos, those harmless pills or rituals with no active ingredients, often work because you believe they will, gently nudging your brain into a state of trust and relaxation. Imagine your thoughts as ripples on a pond. When you're told something will help you sleep, those ripples soften, smoothing into calm. Studies show that even when people receive a sugar pill labeled as a sleep aid, they often drift off more easily, their minds comforted by the simple act of believing in relief. It's not magic, but rather the power of your own hope, like turning down the dial on a restless radio station in your head. For those struggling with insomnia or restless nights, this reveals something beautiful. Sometimes, the remedy isn't just in the medicine, but in the quiet assurance that help has arrived. Your mind, when given a gentle suggestion, can sometimes weave its own lullaby, soft, slow, and surprisingly effective. 20. The psychology of suggestion and placebo responses. You might wonder how something as simple as a sugar pill or a harmless saline injection could ease pain or lift someone's spirits. And yet, here we are, marveling at the power of the mind. It's like planting a seed in fertile soil. The suggestion itself, whether whispered by a trusted voice or implied through hopeful expectation, takes root and begins to grow. When someone believes, even subtly, that a treatment will help, their mind can orchestrate a cascade of responses that feel nothing short of miraculous. It's not deception or trickery. It's the mind's way of reaching out its hand, steadying itself against the storm. Think of it as a gentle nudge, a quiet assurance that things can improve, and the body often follows suit, releasing natural chemicals that soothe, heal, or invigorate. This isn't about weakness or gullibility. It's a testament to how deeply intertwined our thoughts and sensations are, how closely hope and healing walk hand in hand. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful medicine we have isn't found in a bottle, but in the boundless potential of our own belief. 21. Placebo effects in treating migraines and headaches. You might find it surprising how often your own mind can become a gentle healer, especially when it comes to the throbbing weight of migraines or the dull ache of headaches. Picture your brain as a skilled conductor, subtly orchestrating relief even when the medicine you take is nothing more than a sugar pill, a placebo. It's not about tricking yourself. It's about the quiet power of expectation, like the way a warm cup of tea can ease tension before the first sip simply because you believe it will. Studies have shown that placebos can soften pain, not by magic, but by nudging your body's natural ability to soothe itself, like a whisper that calms a storm. This doesn't mean your pain isn't real. It simply reveals how closely tied your mind and body are, working together like two hands clasped in comfort. So the next time a headache lingers, remember, sometimes relief begins not in the pill, but in the quiet hope you hold that things will get better. And often, they do. 22. The role of rituals in enhancing placebo responses. You might not realize it, but the rituals you perform, whether it's brewing tea just so, lighting a candle before bed, or even the way you take your vitamins, have a quiet power to shape how you feel. Think of them like gentle currents in a river, subtly guiding your expectations and beliefs without you even noticing. When you repeat these small, intentional acts, they send signals to your mind that something meaningful is happening, priming you for change. much like how the first notes of a familiar song can ease your shoulders and slow your breath. Studies show that the more a ritual feels significant, perhaps because it's repeated or because it engages your senses, the more it can amplify the placebo effect, that mysterious phenomenon where belief alone sparks real relief. It's not magic, but it is a reminder of how deeply your mind and body are woven together. So the next time you find comfort in a routine, know that it's not just habit. It's a quiet collaboration between what you do and what you trust, a small ceremony of hope that your body often agrees to honor. 23. The placebo effect in treating allergies. You might find it surprising how much your own mind can influence your body, especially when it comes to something as stubborn as allergies. Imagine your immune system as a watchful guard, sometimes overreacting to harmless things like pollen or dust, sounding the alarm when there's no real danger. But what if simply believing you've taken something to help could quiet that reaction? That's the gentle power of the placebo effect. It's not about tricking yourself. It's about the quiet partnership between your thoughts and your body, like a whisper that calms a storm. Studies have shown that even when people are given a sugar pill, told it's an allergy remedy, their symptoms often ease, not because the pill did anything, but because their expectation of relief set something in motion. It's a reminder that healing isn't always about the medicine itself, but the hope and trust we attach to it. So the next time your allergies flare, pause for a moment. Sometimes, the most potent remedy begins with a quiet belief that you'll feel better, and that alone can be enough to soften the edges of discomfort. 24. How placebos affect hormonal balance. You might be surprised to learn just how powerful your mind can be in shaping your body's responses, especially when it comes to something as delicate as hormonal balance. Think of hormones like tiny messengers, constantly moving through your bloodstream, whispering instructions to your cells. Now, imagine your brain as the conductor of this intricate orchestra. When you believe something is going to help you, even if it's a harmless sugar pill, your brain can step in and harmonize those messengers in ways that feel almost magical. This is the placebo effect at work. It's not just all in your head. It's a real, biochemical conversation between your thoughts and your body. Picture it like turning on a light switch in a dim room. The placebo doesn't create the light, but it can flip the switch that brings it to life. Studies have shown that placebos can influence hormones like cortisol, which regulates stress, or endorphins, the body's natural painkillers. It's as if your mind, with its quiet confidence, nudges your body back into balance. So, while placebos aren't a cure-all, they remind us of the profound connection between what we believe and how we feel, an inner wisdom that often knows more than we give it credit for. 25. The placebo effect in managing cardiovascular health. You might wonder how something as intangible as belief can influence something as vital as your heart's health. But the placebo effect is a quiet yet powerful reminder of how deeply our minds and bodies are connected. Picture this. Your body is like a finely tuned orchestra, and your thoughts act as the conductor, subtly guiding the rhythm and harmony of your physical well-being. When you believe a treatment, even a sugar pill, will help, your brain can release signals that lower stress, ease inflammation, or improve blood flow, like turning down the volume on a song that's too loud. This isn't magic. It's your body responding to hope and trust. In managing cardiovascular health, this effect can be especially profound, as stress and tension often play hidden roles in heart conditions. By fostering a sense of calm and optimism, whether through medication, meditation, or even just walking in nature, you're allowing your body to tap into its own healing potential. It's a gentle nudge toward balance, a whisper that tells your heart, "You've got this." So, while modern medicine offers vital tools, never underestimate the quiet strength of your own belief. It might just be the heartbeat of your recovery. 26. Placebos and their role in addiction recovery. You might find it surprising how something as simple as belief can weave its way into the fabric of healing, especially when it comes to addiction recovery. Placebos, often dismissed as mere tricks of the mind, hold a quiet power, like a gentle breeze that somehow shifts a heavy storm. When someone believes they're receiving a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, their body and mind can respond as though it's the real thing. It's as if the brain, in its infinite creativity, decides to meet expectation halfway, nudging the body toward balance. In addiction recovery, this can be profound. Addiction often feels like a spiral, pulling you deeper into habits that seem impossible to break. Yet, placebos can act like a lifeline, offering a sense of hope and control. They don't cure addiction on their own, of course, but they can create a space where healing feels possible, like cracking open a window in a stuffy room. Trusting in something, even if it's a placebo, can remind you that change is within reach, and sometimes that belief is the first step toward reclaiming your life. It's a gentle reminder that healing often begins with the mind, and sometimes that's enough to light the way. 27. The impact of branding and packaging on placebo effectiveness. You might not realize it, but the way a pill is wrapped or the name on its label can shape how your body responds to it, even if there's no active medicine inside. Think of it like a gift. Presented in elegant paper, it feels more special, more potent, as if the box itself whispers promises before you even open it. Branding and packaging work the same way on our minds, gently nudging our expectations. A sleek, professional design or a trusted logo can make a placebo feel like a powerful remedy, simply because we believe it should. It's not deception. It's the mind's quiet collaboration with the world around it, like how a warm cup of tea soothes you before the first sip. Studies show that even colors and fonts play a role. Bold, confident lettering or calming pastel shades can tip the scales of perception, turning a sugar pill into something your body responds to as if it were real medicine. It's a reminder that healing isn't just about chemicals. It's about the stories we tell ourselves, the trust we place in the unseen. And in that space between belief and biology, even the simplest things, like a well-designed box, can hold surprising power. 28. Placebo responses in treating skin conditions. You might find it fascinating how much the mind can influence the body, especially when it comes to something as visible and sensitive as the skin. Think of your skin like a canvas, reacting not just to what's physically applied, but also to what your mind believes is happening. Placebo responses in treating skin conditions are like whispers rippling across that canvas, creating subtle but real changes. When someone believes they're receiving a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill or a harmless cream, their skin can respond as if it's truly healing. It's not magic, but rather a testament to the deep connection between expectation and physiology. Imagine the mind as a gardener, tending to the skin's needs with hope and trust, coaxing it to recover. Conditions like eczema or psoriasis, often tied to stress or emotions, can soften under this gentle persuasion. It's not that the placebo cures everything, but it reminds us how powerful belief can be, like a warm breath on a fogged-up mirror, momentarily clearing the way for clarity. So, while modern medicine focuses on creams and prescriptions, the placebo quietly underscores the importance of caring for the mind as much as the body. It's a gentle nudge, a reminder that healing often begins with trust. 29. How placebos influence perceptions of fatigue. You might not realize it, but your mind holds a quiet power over how tired you feel, like a gentle hand adjusting the dimmer switch on a lamp, brightening or softening your sense of fatigue without you even noticing. Placebos work in much the same way, not by changing your body's true limits, but by shifting your perception of them, like a breeze convincing you the air is cooler than it really is. When you believe a pill, a drink, or even a reassuring word will give you energy, your brain often responds by dialing down the weight of exhaustion, if only for a little while. It's not magic. It's the mind's subtle way of meeting expectations, like a faithful dog that perks up at the sound of a leash, ready for a walk it hasn't yet taken. Fatigue, after all, isn't just in your muscles. It's in the stories you tell yourself about how much you can endure. And sometimes, just the hope of relief can lighten the load, like setting down a heavy bag you didn't realize you were carrying. So the next time you feel worn out, remember, your thoughts might be the quietest, kindest remedy of all. 30. The placebo effect in treating respiratory disorders. You might find it surprising how much your own mind can influence the way your body heals, especially when it comes to something as delicate as breathing. Imagine your lungs as a pair of weary travelers, trudging through the dust of a respiratory illness. Each breath a little heavier, a little more labored. Now picture the placebo effect as a gentle hand on their shoulder, offering not medicine, but something just as powerful, the quiet reassurance that relief is coming. It's not magic, nor is it deception. It's your brain, convinced of healing, sending signals to ease tension, open pathways, and soften the edges of discomfort. Studies have shown that even in conditions like asthma or chronic cough, the mere belief in treatment can loosen the grip of symptoms, like sunlight melting frost from a window pane. This doesn't mean the struggle isn't real, only that hope and expectation can sometimes lighten the load. So the next time you take a deep, clear breath, remember, your mind and body are partners in this dance, and sometimes the simplest faith can be the most soothing balm. 31. The role of media and information in shaping placebo responses. You must have noticed how a warm cup of tea or a kind word can sometimes make the world feel lighter, even if just for a moment. Imagine, then, the subtle power of the media and the stories it tells, how it can shape not just what we think, but how we feel, even physically. Like a painter gently adding color to a blank canvas, the media and the information it shares can influence our expectations, which in turn shape our experiences. If you hear about a treatment being a miracle cure, your hope might bloom like a flower in spring, priming your body to respond in ways that feel miraculous, even if the treatment itself is just a sugar pill. This is the placebo effect, and it's deeply tied to the stories we're told and the beliefs we hold. Media acts as a kind of storyteller, weaving narratives that can either lift us up or weigh us down. When handled thoughtfully, it can be a bridge to healing, guiding us toward believing in possibilities. But it's a delicate dance. Too much hype can lead to disappointment, while balanced, honest information can quietly nurture trust and resilience. It's a reminder that our minds and bodies are deeply connected, shaped by what we hear, see, and believe. 32. Placebos and their impact on cognitive function. You know how sometimes just believing in something can make it feel more real, like when you're convinced the sun will shine after a storm even though the clouds still linger. That's the essence of the placebo effect, a quiet but powerful force that shapes how we experience the world. When it comes to cognitive function, things like memory, focus, and clarity, placebos are like a gentle nudge to the mind, reminding it of its own potential. Imagine a runner at the starting line, hesitating, until someone whispers, "You've got this." That simple encouragement can unlock a surge of energy they didn't know they had. Placebos work similarly. They don't actually change the brain's structure or chemistry, but they can awaken a sense of possibility, like turning a dimmer switch just enough to brighten the room. Studies suggest that when people believe they're taking a cognitive-enhancing treatment, their attention sharpens, their recall improves, and their confidence grows. It's as though the mind, when given permission to trust itself, finds new ways to rise to the occasion. So, while placebos might not be a magic pill, they remind us of something profound. The mind, when gently guided by belief, can often do more than we ever imagined. 33. The placebo effect in managing autoimmune diseases. You might wonder how something as intangible as belief can have such a profound impact on the body, especially when it comes to something as complex and unpredictable as autoimmune diseases. Imagine your mind as a quiet gardener, tending to the soil of your body, planting seeds of hope and care. The placebo effect is like that gardener's gentle touch, coaxing the body to respond in ways that sometimes even medicine can't fully explain. It's not about tricking yourself or ignoring reality. It's about tapping into the subtle, yet powerful, connection between your thoughts and your physical well-being. Studies have shown that when people truly believe in a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, their bodies can respond with reduced inflammation, improved symptoms, and a sense of calm that helps them navigate the challenges of their condition. It's as if the mind whispers to the immune system, "We're okay, let's find balance again." While it's not a cure, the placebo effect reminds us that healing isn't always about the sharp edges of science. It's also about the soft, steady light of hope that we carry within us. 34. How placebos affect recovery from surgery. You might think of your body as a garden, where thoughts and beliefs are like the weather, subtle yet powerful forces that can nurture or wither the soil. When it comes to recovering from surgery, Placebos are like a gentle rain, not directly responsible for growth, but creating an environment where healing feels possible. Even if a placebo doesn't physically repair tissue, it can shift your mindset, much like opening a window to let in fresh air. Studies show that when people believe they're receiving effective treatment, their bodies often respond with reduced pain, quicker recovery, and even fewer complications. It's as if the mind whispers to the body, "It's going to be okay," and the body listens. This doesn't mean surgery isn't necessary. It's more that the placebo effect helps you trust the process, easing the tension that can slow healing. Think of it as a kind of inner calm, a soft blanket draped over the sharp edges of anxiety. It reminds us that recovery isn't just about physical repair. It's also about the quiet strength of believing in your own resilience. And sometimes, that belief alone can make all the difference. 35. The placebo effect in treating musculoskeletal pain. You might be surprised to discover how much your mind can influence your body, especially when it comes to something as tangible as pain. Imagine your body as a garden. Pain is like a stubborn weed, persistent and unwelcome. But your mind, it's the gardener, and sometimes just believing you've applied the right treatment can make that weed seem less invasive, even if the treatment is nothing more than a sugar pill. This is the placebo effect, a gentle reminder that hope and expectation can be powerful healers. When it comes to musculoskeletal pain, aches in your back, knees, or shoulders, the brain can dial down the discomfort, not because the pain isn't real, but because it trusts in the possibility of relief. It's like turning down the volume on a loud, grating sound. Studies show that even when people know they're taking a placebo, their pain can still ease, as if the act of caring for themselves quietly whispers to their body, "It's going to be okay." So, while it's not a cure-all, it's a beautiful example of how the mind and body work together, like two dancers moving in harmony, to find a little more peace in the midst of the discomfort. 36. Placebos and their role in treating neurological disorders. You've probably heard of placebos, those curious little fake treatments that seem to work even when we know they're not real. It's like seeing a flicker of light in a dark room. Even if the light isn't really there, your mind believes it enough to guide you forward. When it comes to neurological disorders, placebos can play a surprising and tender role in healing. Think of your brain as a conductor of an orchestra. Sometimes it gets out of sync and the music feels off-key. A placebo, in this case, is like a gentle whisper to the conductor, encouraging it to find its rhythm again. It doesn't fix the instruments directly, but it helps the brain believe it can regain harmony. Studies show that when people with conditions like Parkinson's or chronic pain receive a placebo, their brains sometimes release natural chemicals, like endorphins or dopamine, that ease symptoms. It's as if the placebo unlocks a door your body didn't realize it could open. The beauty of this is that it reminds us how deeply connected our minds and bodies are, and how hope itself can be a kind of medicine. It's not a cure, but it's a quiet, powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit. 37. The impact of placebo effects on aging and longevity. You might find it fascinating how much your mind and body are deeply connected, like two dancers moving in perfect harmony, each influencing the other in ways that can shape your experience of aging and health. The placebo effect, that quiet yet powerful phenomenon where believing in a treatment's benefit can actually bring about real changes in your body, plays a surprisingly significant role in how we age and how long we might live. Imagine your mind as a gardener tending to a garden. When you nurture it with positive expectations, hope, and trust, your body responds by blossoming in ways that defy the usual wear and tear of time. Studies suggest that people who believe in their own vitality and resilience often see slower declines in physical health, fewer age-related ailments, and even longer lifespans. It's not magic. It's the subtle, yet profound way your brain communicates with your cells, nudging them toward repair and renewal. This doesn't mean you can ignore the realities of aging, but it does remind you that your mindset is a quiet ally, whispering to your body that it's capable of more than you might think. So, as you navigate the journey of growing older, remember, a hopeful heart and a trusting mind might just be some of your most powerful tools for a long, vibrant life. 38. How placebos influence subjective well-being. You've probably heard of placebos, those sugar pills or harmless treatments that somehow manage to make people feel better, even though they don't contain any active medicine. It's a bit like watering a plant with plain tap water and watching it flourish because you believed it was some magical elixir. Placebos work because the mind is powerful, and when it expects relief or improvement, it can sometimes create that very experience. Think of it as a gentle nudge to your brain, encouraging it to focus on the positive, to lean into hope rather than doubt. This isn't about tricking yourself. It's more about tapping into a deep, inherent ability to influence how you feel. When you believe something will help, your body can respond with relaxation, reduce stress, or even a sense of calm that lifts your mood. It's like flipping a switch to dim the harshness of discomfort and let in a softer light. Placebos remind us that well-being isn't just about what happens to us, but also how we interpret and engage with it. They invite us to trust in the quiet, healing power of expectation, showing that sometimes the simplest beliefs can open the door to feeling better. 39. The placebo effect in fertility treatments. You might find it fascinating how deeply intertwined hope and belief can be with our bodies, especially when it comes to something as deeply personal as fertility. Think of the placebo effect as a quiet conductor, orchestrating a symphony within you where your mind and body play in perfect harmony. In fertility treatments, it's not just about the science of hormones or procedures. It's also about the stories we tell ourselves, the way we cradle possibility in our hearts. Studies have shown that even when individuals receive a treatment that contains no active ingredients, their belief in its potential can spark real, measurable changes. It's like lighting a candle in a dim room. The light may be small, but it shifts the entire atmosphere. This doesn't mean the struggle isn't real or complex, but it highlights how much our inner world matters. Trust and optimism can act as gentle currents, guiding us through uncertainty. While the placebo effect isn't a cure-all, it reminds us that healing often begins with how we frame our journey, like planting seeds in fertile soil, where both science and hope nurture the possibility of growth. In moments of doubt, that faith, however fragile, can be a quiet yet powerful ally. 40. Placebos and their role in managing side effects of medications. You might find it fascinating how something as simple as a sugar pill can sometimes ease the side effects of medications we take. It's like the mind playing a quiet, yet powerful trick on the body, a gentle reminder that our thoughts and expectations can shape how we feel. Placebos, though often thought of as fake treatments, tap into this intriguing connection between belief and biology. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a forest, hesitating before stepping in. Just the belief that the path is safe can make your steps lighter, your breath calmer. In a similar way, when someone believes a placebo will help, their body often responds as if it's real, easing discomfort or mitigating side effects. This doesn't mean the medication itself isn't necessary, but rather that the placebo acts like a supportive companion, smoothing out the rough edges of the journey. It's a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the human mind, a quiet strength we all carry within us. So, while placebos may not cure the root cause of an illness, they can be a small yet meaningful way to soften the challenges along the way, offering a bit of comfort when it's needed most. 41. The placebo effect in treating fibromyalgia. You find yourself standing on the edge of a field at dawn, the air cool and still, everything tinged with soft gray light. This is where the placebo effect begins, a quiet space of possibility, right where belief and healing somehow intertwine. For someone navigating the often overwhelming terrain of fibromyalgia, it can feel like wandering through a fog of pain and fatigue, searching for something, anything, to provide relief. The placebo effect isn't about deception or trickery. It's about tapping into the astonishing power of the mind to influence the body, like a gentle current nudging a boat toward calmer waters. When people with fibromyalgia experience relief from a placebo, it's not just in their head, in the dismissive way we sometimes hear. It's a very real shift, a reminder that their body, even if it feels like a storm, still holds pockets of calm and resilience. Studies suggest that placebos can activate the brain's natural pain relief systems, like turning on a dimmer switch in a dark room. It's not a cure, but it's a whisper of hope, a reminder that even small shifts in perspective can ripple out in surprising ways. And isn't that something worth holding on to? 42. How placebos affect appetite and weight loss. You might find it fascinating how placebos silently shape our experience, like a gentle breeze nudging a leaf in a particular direction. When it comes to appetite and weight loss, these unassuming treatments can have a surprisingly profound effect. Picture this. You're handed a pill and told it's a powerful appetite suppressant, yet it's nothing more than sugar. Your brain, wired to trust and expect, starts aligning your body's responses to that belief. Hunger feels quieter, cravings seem more manageable, and suddenly, eating less feels effortless. It's as though your mind whispers to your body, "We're in control now," and your body listens. This isn't magic. It's the power of expectation, a quiet force that can reshape how we feel and act. Over time, this shift can lead to gradual weight loss, not because the placebo burns calories, but because it alters behavior, like turning down the volume on impulses that once felt overwhelming. It's a reminder that our thoughts and beliefs often hold more sway over our bodies than we realize, like a captain steering a ship with a steady hand. In this way, placebos gently remind us of the delicate dance between mind and body, where what we believe can pave the way for what we achieve. 43. The placebo effect in treating irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. You might find it fascinating how the mind and body weave together in ways we're only beginning to understand. Take the placebo effect, for instance, especially in something as complex as irritable bowel syndrome or IBS. Imagine your brain as a conductor, orchestrating not just thoughts, but also the symphony of your body's responses. When someone believes they're receiving a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, their mind can signal the body to ease discomfort, like turning down the volume on a persistent ache. For people with IBS, where symptoms like bloating, pain, and irregular digestion can feel like a storm inside, this effect can bring surprising relief. It's not that the symptoms aren't real, they absolutely are, but the mind has a unique way of softening their edges, like a gentle hand smoothing out crumpled paper. Research shows that even when patients know they're taking a placebo, some still experience improvement, which hints at how deeply trust and expectation are tied to healing. It's a reminder that healing isn't always about chemicals or medicine. Sometimes, it's about the quiet power of belief, like a flicker of hope that lights up the corners of our experience. 44. Placebos and their impact on emotional resilience. You might not realize it, but your mind holds a quiet kind of magic, a way of softening life's edges even when nothing outside has changed. Placebos, those gentle tricks of expectation, are like invisible hands steadying you in the wind, not by altering the storm, but by reminding you of your own balance. When you believe something will help, your body often leans into that trust, weaving comfort from thin air. It's not deception. It's the mind's tender way of stitching resilience into moments that feel frayed. Think of it like a child clutching a favorite blanket. The fabric itself isn't the solace, but the certainty it brings. Emotionally, placebos work the same way, offering a subtle nudge toward calm, a whispered reassurance that you're stronger than you feel. And isn't that a quiet marvel? The power isn't in the pill or the potion, but in the quiet agreement between your hope and your healing. Even when the world feels heavy, your mind knows how to lighten the load, not by changing what's real, but by reminding you that you're already holding the tools to rise. 45. The role of mindfulness and meditation in enhancing placebo responses. You might find it fascinating how the quiet practice of mindfulness and meditation can gently unlock the door to stronger placebo responses, like a key turning in a lock, allowing us to tap into our own inner resources. When you sit with yourself, even for a few moments each day, tuning into your breath or the stillness around you, you're not just calming your mind. You're subtly shifting the way your body and brain respond to the world. It's as if mindfulness softens the edges of doubt and lets trust bloom, creating fertile ground for your mind to believe in the possibility of healing, even when it's sparked by something as simple as a sugar pill or a kind word. Meditation, in this sense, isn't just a practice, it's a bridge. It connects you to a deeper sense of openness and receptivity, where the line between what's real and what's imagined blurs in the most beautiful way. Over time, this awareness can amplify the placebo effect, like turning up the volume on a song you've always loved but never fully appreciated. And the beauty of it is that it's already within you, waiting to be discovered, just beneath the surface of your daily thoughts and worries. 46. Placebo effects in treating post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. You might find it fascinating how something as simple as belief can weave profound changes in the mind, especially when it comes to healing wounds that aren't always visible. Placebo effects, where a person feels better simply because they think they're receiving treatment, show us just how powerful our own expectations can be. For someone grappling with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, the mind often feels like a stormy sea, with waves of anxiety and memories crashing unpredictably. Yet, when a placebo enters the picture, it's as if a small, steady light is lit, a reminder that calm is possible. This doesn't mean the trauma is insignificant or that the struggle isn't real. Rather, it suggests that our minds hold an incredible capacity to influence our experience of pain and recovery. Imagine your mind as a garden. Even if the soil feels trampled and barren, the simple act of believing in the possibility of growth can awaken dormant seeds. Placebos aren't a cure-all, but they remind us that hope and trust can subtly shift the landscape of healing. They invite us to consider that sometimes the first step toward feeling better might simply be believing that better is within reach. 47. How placebos influence the perception of time. You might find it fascinating how something as intangible as a belief, like the power of a placebo, can subtly reshape your experience of time, like a gentle hand guiding the hands of a clock. Imagine sitting in a quiet room, told that a sugar pill will make minutes feel shorter. Even though it's just a suggestion, your mind begins to adjust its inner rhythm, like a stream flowing smoother and faster. Placebos work by tapping into your expectations, and when it comes to time, those expectations can stretch or compress moments in ways that feel profoundly real. It's as if your brain, eager to align with what you've been told, whispers to your perception, "This will be quick," and suddenly, it is. Time doesn't really change, of course, but the way you feel it does, like shadows lengthening or shortening depending on the angle of the sun. This gentle dance between belief and perception offers a quiet reminder of how intertwined your thoughts and experiences truly are, and how even the smallest hints can ripple through the way you navigate the world. 48. The placebo effect in managing chronic fatigue syndrome. You might think of the placebo effect as a kind of quiet magic, something that unfolds gently within the mind and body when we believe in the possibility of relief. For those living with chronic fatigue syndrome, where exhaustion feels like carrying an invisible weight every day, the placebo effect can offer a subtle but meaningful handhold. It's not about tricking yourself or pretending the fatigue isn't there. It's about tapping into the mind's ability to nudge the body toward change. Imagine planting a seed in the soil of your thoughts, watering it with hope and trust, and watching how it grows, even if the roots are unseen. Studies suggest that when people believe a treatment will help, even if it's a simple sugar pill, their bodies sometimes respond as if it's real, easing symptoms in ways that science is still learning to understand. It's as though the brain whispers to the body, "Let's try this. Let's see what happens." And sometimes the body listens. This doesn't mean the fatigue disappears entirely, but it can feel like a small opening in a heavy curtain, letting in a bit of light and relief. It's a reminder of how closely our thoughts and bodies dance together, and sometimes that dance can be healing. 49. Placebos and their role in treating tinnitus. You might wonder how something as simple as a sugar pill, a placebo, could ever have a real effect on something as persistent and unsettling as tinnitus. Yet, here's the curious thing. The mind is a vast and intricate landscape where belief and perception can sometimes shape reality in ways that defy logic. Imagine your thoughts as a gentle stream, flowing over rocks and roots. When you believe something might help, even if it's just a harmless pill or a calming ritual, it's as if the stream finds a new path, smoothing out the obstacles in its way. This doesn't mean the ringing in your ears disappears completely, but it can feel less intrusive, less overwhelming. It's as though the mind, when given a sense of hope or control, can turn down the volume on the noise. Placebos aren't about trickery or deception. They're about tapping into the quiet power of the mind to soothe itself. In the case of tinnitus, where sound becomes a constant companion, this subtle shift can feel like a small, reassuring breath of relief in an otherwise noisy world. It reminds us that sometimes healing begins not in the body, but in the way we perceive our experience. 50. The impact of placebo effects on inflammation. You might find it surprising how much your mind can shape your body's response to pain and healing, like a quiet conductor guiding an orchestra unseen. When it comes to inflammation, your body's way of sounding the alarm, something as simple as believing in a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, can sometimes soften the storm. It's as if your expectations gently nudge your nervous system, whispering, "It's okay, we can ease up now," and your cells listen. This isn't magic. It's the delicate interplay between hope and biology, where trust and relief can sometimes dial down the heat of swelling or redness, like a cool cloth on a fevered brow. Scientists are still unraveling how this works, but it seems the mind's gentle persuasion can, at times, calm the body's overzealous defenses. So, the next time you feel your body reacting fiercely to a scrape or ache, remember, your thoughts might hold more sway than you realize, not as a cure, but as a quiet ally in the dance of healing. 51. How placebos affect recovery from injuries. You've probably heard of placebos, those mysterious, fake treatments that somehow still help people feel better. They're like whispers to your mind, nudging it to believe in healing even when there's no physical reason for it to happen. Think of it this way. Your brain is a garden, and belief is the sunlight that helps everything grow. When you trust that something will work, your body responds as if it's true, releasing natural chemicals that soothe pain, reduce stress, and even speed up recovery. It's not magic, but it's close, a quiet partnership between your thoughts and your body's innate ability to heal. Placebos work best when the injury isn't severe, like a sprain or a nagging ache, and when you're surrounded by care and reassurance, as if you're wrapped in a warm blanket of hope. It's a reminder that healing isn't just about fixing broken parts. It's about feeling safe and supported enough to let your body do its work. In a way, placebos teach us that recovery is as much about the mind's gentle guidance as it is about the body's strength. And isn't that a beautiful thing? 52. The placebo effect in treating phantom limb pain. You might wonder how something as intangible as belief can ease the sharp ache of a limb that's no longer there. But the mind holds a quiet, mysterious power. Phantom limb pain, that strange sensation where the body feels what it can't see, often feels like a cruel trick, a shadow of what once was. Yet, in the midst of this confusion, the placebo effect offers a gentle hand, guiding the mind toward relief. It's like turning down the volume on a persistent melody that's grown too loud. When a person trusts in a treatment, whether it's a pill, a procedure, or even a soothing ritual, their brain begins to weave a new story, one where pain takes a step back. It's not magic, but a reminder that our thoughts and feelings are deeply intertwined with our physical experience. This phenomenon shows us that healing doesn't always come from the outside. Sometimes it's nurtured within, like a seed finding its way to the light. So, when the body feels lost, the mind can still guide it home, softly and surely, toward a place of calm. 53. Placebos and their role in treating arthritis. You might think of placebos as whispers of hope, little promises wrapped in sugar pills that somehow coax the body into believing it's on the mend. When it comes to arthritis, a condition that often feels like a storm trapped inside your joints, the idea that something so simple could bring relief might seem almost too good to be true. But here's the curious thing. Placebos, even when they're just inert substances, can sometimes ease pain, reduce stiffness, and improve mobility. It's as if the mind, when convinced it's receiving help, sends out a quiet signal to calm the turbulence within. Scientists call this the placebo effect, but really, it's more like the body's own way of tapping into its hidden toolbox of healing. What's fascinating is that this doesn't mean the pain isn't real. It's just that the brain has a remarkable ability to turn down the volume on discomfort when it senses support. For some people with arthritis, placebos can be a bridge, a gentle reminder that healing isn't always about the strongest medicine. but sometimes about the quiet strength of belief itself. It's a testament to how deeply connected the mind and body truly are. 54. The placebo effect in managing endometriosis. You might find it surprising, perhaps even a little mysterious, how the mind can play such a powerful role in managing pain, especially when it comes to something as complex and deeply personal as endometriosis. The placebo effect, often described as a dummy treatment, is far from trivial. Imagine your mind as a gentle gardener, tending to the soil of your body with care. Even when the treatment itself doesn't contain active ingredients, the simple act of believing in its potential can encourage your body to release its own natural pain-relieving chemicals, like endorphins, soothing the storm within. It's not about tricking yourself. It's more like unlocking a hidden reservoir of resilience you already carry. For someone navigating endometriosis, where pain can feel like an unwelcome companion, this effect offers a glimmer of hope, proof that healing can sometimes come from within. It reminds us that the mind and body are deeply intertwined, partners in a delicate dance. While it's not a cure, the placebo effect can be a comforting ally, a soft light in moments of darkness, helping you feel more in control, even when the path ahead feels uncertain. It's a quiet reminder that sometimes the strength you need is already within you. 55. How placebos influence recovery from stroke. You might think of placebos as little more than sugar pills, but their influence on recovery, especially after something as profound as a stroke, can be surprisingly real, like a gentle hand guiding you back to yourself. When your mind believes in the possibility of healing, it can quietly nudge your body toward repair, like sunlight coaxing a seedling to rise through the soil. Studies show that even when patients know they're taking a placebo, the ritual of care, the hope it carries, can still ease symptoms and improve mobility, as if the act of believing alone loosens the knots left by injury. It's not magic, but a reminder of how deeply connected your thoughts and body truly are, how the stories you tell yourself about healing can shape the path forward. A placebo won't rewire damaged nerves, of course, but it might help you find the strength to work with what remains, like a quiet companion whispering, "Keep going," and sometimes that's enough to make all the difference. 56. The placebo effect in treating Parkinson's disease. You might find it surprising how powerful the mind can be, even in the face of something as complex as Parkinson's disease. Imagine your brain as a garden, where the pathways between thoughts and movements are like delicate vines, sometimes tangled or worn. Now, picture a placebo, a simple sugar pill or harmless treatment, as a gentle breeze that somehow convinces those vines to grow straighter, stronger, at least for a little while. It's not magic, but something almost as mysterious. The sheer belief that something will help can sometimes spark real change in the body. Studies have shown that people with Parkinson's, when given a placebo, occasionally experience smoother movements or fewer tremors, as if their brain, just for a moment, remembers how to tend the garden properly. It doesn't work for everyone, and it's never a cure, but it's a reminder of how deeply hope and expectation are woven into healing. Think of it as a quiet conversation between mind and body, where trust, even in something small, can sometimes tilt the scales toward relief. And isn't that a comforting thought, that even in uncertainty, the mind holds a little light of its own? 57. Placebos and their impact on gut-brain interactions. You might not realize it, but your mind and body are constantly in conversation, like two old friends who know each other so well they can finish each other's sentences. This is especially true when it comes to your gut and brain, a pair that's more interconnected than you'd think. Picture it like a bridge. Each thought, each expectation sends ripples across that bridge, influencing how your body feels and even how it heals. Placebos are a fascinating example of this. They're like whispers of hope, tiny suggestions that your mind takes seriously, even when it knows there's no active medicine involved. When you believe a placebo will help, your brain responds as if it's real, sending signals that can calm your gut, ease discomfort, or even reduce inflammation. It's as if your brain is a gardener, tending to your body with care, nurturing it with the belief that things will get better. And sometimes, that belief alone is enough to spark real change. It's a reminder that your thoughts and expectations aren't just fleeting ideas. They're powerful forces, quietly shaping how you feel in ways you might not even notice. So next time you feel a little off, remember, your mind is listening and it's ready to help. 58. The role of storytelling in enhancing placebo responses. You might not realize it, but storytelling has a quiet magic that can shape how we experience the world, even when it comes to something as subtle as the placebo effect. Think of it this way. When someone shares a story, whether it's about a treatment, a healing ritual, or simply the power of hope, it's like planting a seed in your mind. That seed, nurtured by the richness of the narrative, begins to sprout belief, expectation, and even a sense of possibility. Just as a well-told tale can transport you to another place, it can also gently guide your body's responses, creating a bridge between imagination and physical reality. It's not about tricking the mind, but rather inviting it to trust in a process, to see a path where healing feels within reach. Stories give meaning to the unknown, much like a lantern in the dark, and that meaning can be enough to spark change. So, the next time you hear a story about someone's recovery or the power of a remedy, notice how it settles in you. It's not just words, it's a quiet kind of alchemy, turning hope into something tangible. 59. Placebo effects in treating insomnia. You've probably noticed, in those quiet hours when sleep seems just out of reach, how much of a mental game it can be. Imagine, for a moment, that your mind is like a lantern in the dark. Sometimes it shines too brightly, casting shadows of worry, and other times it flickers softly, inviting rest. This is where the idea of placebos comes in, like a gentle whisper to that lantern, suggesting it's time to dim. A placebo is nothing more than a harmless suggestion, a sugar pill or a ritual of comfort, but it carries with it the quiet power of belief. When you trust that something will help you sleep, even if it's just the act of sipping warm tea or listening to calming music, your mind responds. It's as though the suggestion smooths the edges of your thoughts, like a breeze softening the surface of a pond. Studies show that people who believe in their treatment, even if it's a placebo, often sleep better, because the mind, in its complexity, starts to align with the expectation of rest. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful remedy is simply the act of believing you'll be okay. And in those still moments before sleep, that belief can feel like a blanket, warm and steady, wrapping you in its calm. 60. How placebos affect recovery from chemotherapy. You might find it surprising how much the mind can shape the body's journey through something as challenging as chemotherapy, like a quiet hand steadying a trembling cup. Placebos, those harmless pills or treatments with no active medicine, sometimes ease symptoms or even speed recovery, not because they contain healing ingredients, but because the belief in their power lights up the body's own resilience. Imagine a child clutching a favorite blanket, feeling safer just by holding it. In a similar way, the mind can wrap itself around the idea of relief, and sometimes the body follows. Studies have shown that patients given placebos during chemotherapy occasionally report less nausea, less pain, or even more energy, not because the placebo is doing the work, but because their hope and expectation gently nudge their system toward calm. It's not magic, nor is it a cure, but rather a reminder of how deeply connected our thoughts and bodies truly are. Even in the hardest moments, the quiet certainty that something is helping can, in its own subtle way, become part of the healing. 61. The placebo effect in managing chronic back pain. You might find it fascinating, even comforting, to consider how the mind can shape the way we experience pain, especially something as stubborn as chronic back pain. Imagine your body as a garden. Sometimes weeds take root, and despite your best efforts, they persist. The placebo effect, in this case, is like a gentle rain that, even if it doesn't pull the weeds entirely, helps them feel less suffocating. It's not about tricking yourself, it's about tapping into the quiet power of belief. When you trust that something, whether it's a pill, a therapy, or even a ritual, can help, your brain often responds as if it's real, releasing its own natural pain-relieving compounds. It's like closing your eyes and feeling the warmth of the sun, even when the sky is partly cloudy. This doesn't mean the pain isn't there, but it can shift your relationship with it, making it feel lighter, more manageable. It's a reminder that healing isn't just about the body. It's a dance between the mind, the heart, and the world around you. And sometimes, that dance can bring a surprising kind of peace. 62. Placebos and their role in treating multiple sclerosis. You might find it curious, even comforting, how the mind can sometimes heal the body in ways we don't fully understand. Think of a placebo as a kind of gentle suggestion, like when someone whispers to a worried heart, "It's going to be okay," and somehow, against all odds, it listens. For people living with multiple sclerosis, a condition where the body's own defenses turn against the nervous system, the power of belief can play a surprising role. Studies have shown that even when someone receives a treatment with no active ingredients, just a sugar pill or a saline injection, their symptoms can improve. It's as if the mind, convinced it's being helped, nudges the body toward calm. This isn't to say the disease disappears, but the pain, fatigue, or stiffness may ease, like a tight knot slowly loosening. Placebos remind us that healing isn't always about the medicine in the bottle, but the hope in the heart. They invite us to wonder, what else might be possible if we truly believed in our capacity to feel better? It's a quiet, tender reminder that sometimes the most potent medicine is the one we carry within. 63. The impact of placebo effects on wound healing. You might not realize it, but your mind holds a quiet power over how your body heals, like a gentle hand guiding a wound to close. Imagine believing so deeply in a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, that your body responds as though it's real. This is the placebo effect, a subtle dance between expectation and biology, where hope and belief can speed up healing, as if your thoughts are whispering to your cells, "It's time to mend." Studies have shown that wounds can heal faster when people think they're receiving something helpful, not because of the treatment itself, but because their mind has set the stage for recovery. It's like a gardener tending to a plant. Faith in the process nurtures growth, even when the soil is the same. The body listens to the stories we tell it, and sometimes those stories are enough to soften the edges of pain or stitch together broken skin a little sooner. So while medicine does its work, never underestimate the quiet strength of your own belief, a hidden ally in the journey toward healing. 64. How placebos influence recovery from viral infections. You might find it fascinating how the mind can gently nudge the body toward healing, even when the cure seems to be nothing more than a whisper of hope. Think of a placebo as a quiet suggestion, like a warm blanket on a chilly evening. It doesn't change the temperature of the room, but it makes you feel comforted, safe, and more at ease. When you believe you're receiving something that will help, your body often responds as if it's true, releasing its own natural defenses, like opening the windows to let in fresh air after a long, stagnant day. This isn't magic. It's the intricate dance between your thoughts and your biology, a reminder that healing isn't just about fighting the virus, but also about nurturing the space where recovery happens. Placebos don't erase the infection, but they can soften its edges, like turning down the volume on a loud, persistent noise. They remind us that sometimes feeling cared for and believing in possibility can be its own kind of medicine, one that helps your body find its way back to balance, step by quiet step. 65. The placebo effect in treating bipolar disorder. You might find it intriguing how the mind can sometimes act like a quiet gardener, nurturing hope even when the soil of our lives feels barren. The placebo effect, especially in treating bipolar disorder, is a bit like that. Small, deliberate acts of belief or expectation can foster growth where none seemed possible, even if the seeds planted aren't what they first appear to be. Imagine someone in the throes of bipolar disorder, swinging between highs and lows like a pendulum. When they're given a placebo, a treatment with no active ingredients, but told it's a powerful remedy, their mind often responds as if it were real. It's not magic, but something deeply human. The power of belief can soothe the storm, even if only for a time. This doesn't mean the disorder disappears, but rather that the mind, in its infinite complexity, can sometimes ease its own suffering by leaning into hope. It's like holding a candle in the dark. It doesn't erase the night, but it makes it feel less daunting. And in that gentler light, healing, in whatever form it takes, becomes a little more possible. 66. Placebos and their role in treating obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. You might find it curious how something as simple as a sugar pill can weave its way into the complex tapestry of the mind, especially when it comes to treating obsessive-compulsive disorder. Placebos, these unassuming little pills with no active ingredients, can sometimes act like a gentle key, unlocking the mind's own ability to heal and find calm. Think of it as a kind of mental trickery, where believing in the possibility of relief can actually create that relief, like a soft whisper that quiets the storm inside. For someone with OCD, where thoughts can feel like relentless waves crashing over and over, a placebo can offer a moment of stillness, a reminder that the mind has its own quiet strength. It's not about fooling someone, but rather about tapping into the deep well of hope and trust that resides within us all. Sometimes, the simple act of believing in a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, can shift something profound, like turning a dial on a radio to tune out static and find music instead. It's a reminder that healing isn't always about the tools we use, but about the belief we carry with us. 67. The placebo effect in managing diabetes symptoms. You might find it surprising how much your mind can influence your body, especially when it comes to managing something as complex as diabetes. Imagine your brain as a gentle conductor, subtly guiding the rhythms of your well-being, even when the medicine you're taking isn't what it seems. The placebo effect, that quiet power of expectation, can sometimes soften the edges of symptoms, like a warm hand steadying a shaky cup. It's not a cure, of course, but a reminder that hope and belief can weave themselves into your healing, easing discomfort or sharpening your focus on care. Think of it as a kind of inner reassurance, a whispered promise that helps you stay steady when the path feels uncertain. Research suggests that even when sugar levels or fatigue are very real challenges, the mind's quiet optimism can sometimes soften their grip, like clouds parting just enough to let in a little light. It's a delicate dance, one that honors both science and the human spirit, a reminder that you're more than your diagnosis, and sometimes, healing begins with a simple, steadfast belief in possibility. 68. How placebos affect recovery from bone fractures. You might think that healing a broken bone is purely a physical process, like waiting for a bridge to repair itself, beam by beam. But what if the mind could gently nudge that process along, like a quiet whisper encouraging the body to work a little faster? Placebos, those harmless treatments with no active medicine, often do just that, weaving a subtle thread of hope into recovery. When someone believes they're receiving something helpful, their body sometimes responds as if it's true, easing pain or even speeding up healing, as though the mind has handed the bones a map to follow. It's not magic, but rather the power of expectation, like a sunrise you're certain will bring warmth even before it crests the horizon. Studies suggest that placebos can reduce discomfort and inflammation, as if the body, reassured by the idea of care, relaxes into its own repair. So while a fracture still needs time and proper medical attention, the quiet influence of belief can be a companion on the journey, softening the edges of recovery like a steady hand guiding you forward. 69. The placebo effect in treating eczema and psoriasis. You might find it surprising how much your mind can influence your body, like a gentle whisper that somehow reaches every corner of a room. When it comes to eczema or psoriasis, the itchy, stubborn patches that flare up like storm clouds on your skin, the placebo effect can sometimes work like a quiet balm, not because of any active medicine, but because your belief in treatment soothes your nervous system, like sunlight softening the edges of a shadow. Studies have shown that even when people receive a sugar pill or a cream with no real medication, their symptoms can improve simply because they expect relief, as if their body hears the promise of healing and decides to meet it halfway. It's not a cure, of course, but it's a reminder that your mind and skin are in constant conversation, and sometimes slowing down, trusting the process, or even just feeling cared for can calm the inflammation, like a lullaby for your overactive immune system. It's a delicate dance, but one that shows how deeply hope and attention can shape your experience of healing, even when the remedy is as simple as believing it might work. 70. Placebos and their impact on recovery from trauma. You might think of placebos as little more than sugar pills, harmless tokens with no real power. But what if their true magic lies in the quiet spaces of the mind? Imagine standing at the edge of a dark forest, hesitant to step forward, until someone hands you a lantern. Even if it doesn't light up, just holding it can steady your breath, soften the shadows, and make the path feel less daunting. That's how placebos work in the aftermath of trauma. They don't erase the pain or rewrite the past, but they can gently shift the way your body and mind respond to it, like a warm hand on your shoulder when you least expect it. The belief that something, anything, might help can loosen the grip of fear, slow the racing heart, and create room for healing to begin. It's not about tricking yourself. It's about honoring the mind's quiet ability to mend, even when the remedy is as simple as hope in a bottle. Sometimes, the smallest gestures hold the most surprising strength. 71. The role of group dynamics in enhancing placebo responses. You might wonder how something as intangible as a group's energy can shape something deeply personal, like the placebo effect. Yet, it's a little like standing in a forest and feeling the trees sway together in the wind. Each movement influences the others, subtly but surely. When people gather, they bring their hopes, fears, and expectations, and these ripple through the group like whispers in a quiet room. If everyone believes something good is about to happen, that shared optimism can kindle a stronger belief in each individual. Think of it as a chorus singing in harmony. Even if you're unsure of your own voice, the collective confidence carries you forward. Group dynamics foster trust, a sense of belonging, and the unspoken reassurance that we're in this together. This doesn't just soften doubts, it amplifies hope, creating fertile ground for the placebo response to take root. It's not magic, but it feels a bit like it. The shared belief becomes a gentle force, nudging minds and bodies toward healing. In these moments, the group becomes more than just a collection of individuals. It's a quiet, powerful wave, lifting everyone along with it. 72. Placebo effects in treating vertigo and dizziness. You might find it fascinating how the mind can weave subtle magic into our bodily experiences, especially when it comes to something as unsettling as vertigo or dizziness. Imagine standing on a wobbly bridge, the world tilting around you. It's a disorienting sensation that can feel impossible to escape. Yet, sometimes, simply believing in a treatment, even if it's a sugar pill or a harmless intervention, can steady that bridge. Placebo effects are like gentle hands guiding you back to balance, not through force, but through trust and expectation. Studies show that when people with vertigo or dizziness are given a placebo, their symptoms often improve, not because of any active ingredient, but because their brain signals calmness to their body, easing the chaos. It's as if the mind whispers, "It's going to be okay," and the body listens. This doesn't mean the condition isn't real or that placebos replace medical care. It's more about acknowledging the profound connection between belief and healing. Sometimes, even the tiniest seed of hope can grow into something soothing, like a quiet breeze that settles the storm within you. It's a reminder that healing isn't just about what we take, it's also about what we believe. 73. How placebos influence recovery from heart attacks. You might find it fascinating, even soothing, to think about how something as simple as belief can shape the way we heal, especially after something as serious as a heart attack. Placebos, these seemingly inert treatments, like sugar pills or saline injections, have this remarkable way of nudging our bodies toward recovery, not because they contain any active medicine, but because our minds believe they do. It's as if the mind whispers to the body, "I've got this," and the body listens, unlocking its own ability to mend. For someone recovering from a heart attack, this can mean reduced pain, lower stress, and even improved heart function, all because the brain signals that healing is underway. Imagine your body as a garden. Placebos are like the gentle rain that coaxes the plants to grow, not by adding nutrients, but by creating the right conditions for growth. This process reminds us of the profound connection between mind and body, how our thoughts and expectations can be just as powerful as medicine. It's a gentle reminder that healing isn't always about the tools we use, but the trust we place in them and in ourselves. 74. The placebo effect in managing thyroid disorders. You might find it surprising how much your mind can influence your body, like a gentle hand guiding a boat on still water. When it comes to managing thyroid disorders, the placebo effect, a quiet yet powerful force, can play a subtle but meaningful role. Imagine your body as a garden, where thoughts and expectations act like sunlight, nurturing or wilting the plants beneath. If you believe a treatment will help, even if it's just a sugar pill, your brain can sometimes respond by easing symptoms, as though it's whispering to your thyroid to find balance. This doesn't mean the disorder isn't real or that medical care isn't essential. It simply highlights how closely your mental and physical health are intertwined. The mind's ability to soothe discomfort or lift fatigue, even briefly, is a reminder of your body's resilience. It's not magic, but rather a testament to the quiet partnership between belief and biology. So while you navigate treatment, remember to tend to your thoughts, too. They might just help soften the edges of the journey. 75. Placebos and their role in treating lupus. You might find it surprising how much the mind can influence the body, like a gentle hand guiding a boat through calm waters. When it comes to something as complex as lupus, where the immune system turns against itself, the idea of a placebo, a treatment with no active medicine, might seem too simple to make a difference. Yet, sometimes, just the belief that something will help can ease symptoms, like a warm blanket softening the edges of discomfort. Placebos don't cure lupus, of course, but they can create a quiet space where the body feels supported, even if only for a little while. It's as if the mind whispers, "I'm here with you," and the body listens, relaxing its grip ever so slightly. Researchers study this not to dismiss the power of real medicine, but to understand how hope and expectation can be woven into healing. So while placebos alone aren't the answer, they remind us that care, in all its forms, can be a kind of medicine too. One that doesn't always come in a pill, but in the quiet certainty that you're being looked after. 76. The impact of placebo effects on kidney function. You might be surprised to learn how much your mind can influence your body, like a gentle hand steering a boat across still water. When it comes to kidney function, the placebo effect, a quiet yet powerful force, can sometimes nudge things in a positive direction, even without active treatment. Imagine your kidneys as diligent gardeners, filtering and tending to your body's inner landscape. If you truly believe a treatment will help, your mind can send subtle signals, like whispers of encouragement, that may ease their workload or improve their efficiency. Studies have shown that simply expecting relief or healing can sometimes soften inflammation, lower stress hormones, or even enhance blood flow to these vital organs. It's not magic, but rather a reminder of how deeply connected your thoughts and physical health really are. Of course, this doesn't replace medical care, but it's a comforting thought, a reminder that hope and belief can be quiet allies in healing. So, the next time you feel uncertain, remember, your mind has a gentle, often overlooked way of tending to your body, like sunlight helping a garden grow without a sound. 77. How placebos affect recovery from dental procedures. You might find it comforting to know that sometimes the mind has a gentle way of helping the body heal, even when we least expect it. Imagine sitting in the dentist's chair, feeling a bit nervous, and then being told you've been given something to ease the pain, only to later discover it was just a harmless sugar pill. It's a bit like a soft blanket wrapped around your nerves, calming them without any real medicine. Placebos, as they're called, can actually make a difference in how you recover from dental procedures. Your mind, trusting in the idea that something is helping, can release natural painkillers or reduce discomfort, like a quiet whisper convincing your body to relax and heal. It's not magic, but rather the power of belief working subtly in the background, like sunlight slowly warming your skin. Studies have shown that even when people know they're taking a placebo, their bodies can respond positively, proof that hope and trust are powerful allies on the path to recovery. So, whether it's a pill, a kind word, or simply the atmosphere of care, sometimes the smallest gestures can create the deepest wells of comfort. 78. The placebo effect in treating carpal tunnel syndrome. You might find it surprising how much your own mind can influence the way your body feels, especially when it comes to something like carpal tunnel syndrome. Imagine your brain as a kind of storyteller, constantly shaping how you experience pain or discomfort. The placebo effect is like that friend who whispers, "It's going to be okay," even when the situation feels unchanged. In studies where people with carpal tunnel syndrome were given treatments they believed would help, like a pill, a cream, or even a fake procedure, many reported less pain and improved function, even though the treatments were inactive. It's as if their belief flipped a switch, turning down the volume on their discomfort. This isn't about dismissing their pain as all in their head. Rather, it's a testament to how deeply connected the mind and body are. Think of it like a garden. The placebo effect doesn't remove the weeds, but it helps nurture the soil, creating conditions where healing feels more possible. It's a gentle reminder that hope and trust can be powerful forces, guiding us toward relief in ways we're still learning to understand. 79. Placebos and their role in managing asthma. You might find it surprising that something as simple as a sugar pill or a saline solution could have a real impact on something as complex as asthma. Yet, placebos, those treatments with no active ingredients, sometimes do just that. Think of it like this. Your mind is a vast landscape, and within it, there's a quiet, steady river of belief. When you take a placebo, it's as if you've dropped a pebble into that river, creating ripples that can reach far and wide. For someone with asthma, those ripples might nudge the body toward relaxation, easing the tightness in their chest or helping them breathe a little more freely. It's not magic, but rather a testament to the power of expectation and trust. When you believe something will help, your body often responds in kind, as if saying, "I've got this." Of course, placebos aren't a replacement for real medicine, but they can be a gentle ally, offering a sense of control and calm in the face of uncertainty. It's like having a soft blanket on a chilly day. It doesn't solve everything, but it can make the journey feel a little warmer, a little easier. 80. The placebo effect in treating seasonal affective disorder, SAD. You might find it surprising how much your mind can influence your body, especially when it comes to something as subtle as seasonal affective disorder. Imagine your brain as a gardener tending to a winter garden. Even when the sunlight is scarce, the mere belief that spring will come can coax a few green shoots through the frost. That's the placebo effect at work, a quiet, powerful reminder that hope itself can be a kind of medicine. Studies have shown that people with SAD often feel better when they believe they're receiving treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, because their expectation of relief gently nudges their mood toward brightness, like a dimmer switch slowly turning up the light. It's not that the struggle isn't real. It's that your mind has an innate ability to soften the edges of that struggle, like a warm blanket on a cold day. This doesn't mean you should dismiss other treatments, of course, but it does offer a comforting thought. Sometimes, the simple act of believing in relief can be the first step toward finding it. 81. How placebos influence recovery from burns. You might find it fascinating how something as simple as belief can weave its way into the healing process, especially when it comes to recovering from burns. Picture this. A burn, raw and tender, is like a storm that's left its mark on the skin, and recovery feels like rebuilding after the chaos. Yet, even in this, the mind holds a quiet power. A placebo can act like a gentle hand, offering reassurance and comfort. When someone believes they're receiving a potent treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill or a harmless cream, their body often responds as though it's real. It's as if the mind whispers, "It's going to be okay," and the body listens. Pain might soften, inflammation eases, and the skin begins to mend a bit faster. This isn't magic. It's the incredible connection between hope and healing. Placebos remind us that recovery isn't just about the physical. It's also about the stories we tell ourselves, the trust we place in care, and the quiet strength of believing things can get better. It's a reminder that even in the toughest moments, the mind can be a kind of healer, gently guiding the body back to wholeness. 82. The placebo effect in managing Raynaud's disease. You might find it surprising how much the mind can influence the body, especially when it comes to something as intricate as Raynaud's disease. Picture this. Your fingers suddenly icy and pale, as if winter has crept into your veins without warning. It's a condition where stress or cold triggers your blood vessels to narrow, leaving you feeling disconnected from your own warmth. But here's where the placebo effect steps in, like a quiet whisper of hope. When someone believes they're receiving treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill or a harmless procedure, their body often responds as if it's real. It's not magic, but rather the power of expectation nudging your system to relax, to open those clenched vessels just a little wider. It's as though your mind becomes a gentle gardener, coaxing your body to bloom despite the chill. Studies have shown that people experiencing Raynaud's can feel significant relief through placebo treatments, not because anything physical has changed, but because their belief has shifted. It's a reminder that healing isn't always about external solutions. Sometimes, it's about tapping into the resilience already inside you, like finding warmth in the soft glow of a candle on a cold night. 83. Placebos and their impact on recovery from childbirth. You know how sometimes just believing something will help can lift a weight off your shoulders? Placebos work in a similar way, like a gentle whisper of hope that can guide the body toward healing, especially after something as transformative as childbirth. Imagine standing in a quiet garden after a storm. The air feels lighter, the sun begins to peek through, and you sense that everything will be okay. A placebo can feel like that moment, a small yet powerful reassurance that things are moving in the right direction. It's not about tricking the mind or the body. It's more like opening a door to the body's own ability to heal, letting the mind and spirit work together harmoniously. For new mothers, who often navigate a mix of physical exhaustion and emotional vulnerability, this subtle nudge can make a difference. It's not a cure-all, but it's a reminder that recovery is as much about how we feel as it is about what we do. Think of it as a soft hand on your shoulder, quietly saying, "You've got this." And sometimes, that's exactly what we need to step forward. 84. The role of visualization in enhancing placebo responses. You might think of visualization as a quiet bridge between mind and body, gently connecting what we imagine with what we feel. When you close your eyes and picture yourself healing, calm, or strong, it's not just a daydream. It's a subtle invitation for your body to respond. Visualization taps into the power of belief, like a seed planted in fertile soil, where the mind's images nourish the possibility of change. This process can amplify the placebo effect, that mysterious phenomenon where simply expecting improvement can lead to real, tangible shifts in how you feel. When you vividly imagine a headache fading or your muscles relaxing, your brain begins to send signals that echo those thoughts, almost as if it's rehearsing the healing process. It's like tuning an instrument. Your mind adjusts the body's strings, helping it play a harmonious note. Visualization isn't about forcing anything. It's about creating a space where hope and expectation can quietly do their work. And in that calm, attentive space, even the smallest mental images can ripple outward, nudging your body toward a sense of ease and recovery. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful medicine begins with a simple, heartfelt thought. 85. Placebo effects in treating chronic pelvic pain. You might find it fascinating how something as simple as belief can hold such power over our bodies, especially when it comes to chronic pain like pelvic discomfort. Picture it this way. Your mind is like a conductor, and your body is the orchestra. When the conductor signals hope, even if it's through a sugar pill or a sham treatment, the orchestra responds with soothing notes, easing the discord of pain. This is the essence of the placebo effect, a reminder that healing isn't always about the tools we use, but the mindset we bring to them. In cases of chronic pelvic pain, which can feel like a relentless storm in the body, placebos offer a glimpse of calm, not by fixing the problem directly, but by quieting the mind's distress signals. Studies show that even when people know they're receiving a placebo, their pain can still diminish, like clouds parting when the wind shifts. It's not magic, but a testament to how deeply intertwined our thoughts and sensations are. So, while placebos aren't a cure, they remind us that hope and care can be potent allies in navigating the complex journey of pain. 86. How placebos affect recovery from sprains and strains. You might wonder how something as seemingly simple as a sugar pill or a harmless treatment can actually help heal a sprained ankle or a strained muscle. It's a bit like when a trusted friend tells you everything is going to be okay. Somehow, just hearing those words can ease your worries and make the world feel lighter. Placebos work in a similar way, tapping into your body's own ability to heal when it believes it's being helped. Imagine your mind as a conductor, guiding an orchestra of healing processes. When you think you're receiving effective treatment, Your mind amplifies signals of relief, like turning up the volume on soothing music. Studies have shown that placebos can reduce pain and even speed up recovery, not because they contain active ingredients, but because they awaken your body's innate resilience. It's a reminder of how deeply connected your thoughts and sensations are, like roots intertwined beneath the surface of soil. So, while placebos may not be a cure-all, they highlight the remarkable power of belief and how it can gently nudge your body toward healing, almost like a quiet whisper encouraging you to mend. 87. The placebo effect in treating shingles. You might have heard about the placebo effect, how sometimes simply believing in a treatment can make us feel better, like a warm cup of tea, soothing an anxious mind. When it comes to something as uncomfortable as shingles, that fiery rash that wraps around your skin like a too tight glove, the idea of hope itself being a healer might sound almost magical. But it's not magic. It's the power of your own mind and body working together in ways we're still learning to understand. Picture this. Your brain is like a quiet conductor, orchestrating a symphony of responses. When you believe something will help, it signals your body to ease the pain, reduce inflammation, and even boost your immune system, like a gardener tending to a wounded plant. Studies have shown that people with shingles who take a placebo, a harmless sugar pill, for instance, sometimes experience real relief, not because the pill has any active ingredients, but because their belief in it sparks their body's natural healing mechanisms. It's a reminder that even in the midst of discomfort, there's a quiet resilience within you, a gentle force that can be nurtured by hope and care. So, while medications and treatments are crucial, never underestimate the quiet strength of your own mind to bring a little light into the healing process. 88. Placebos and their role in managing Gulf War syndrome. You might wonder how something as simple as a sugar pill could play a role in easing the deep, lingering struggles of Gulf War syndrome. Picture this. A placebo is like holding a candle in a dark room. It doesn't fix the darkness, but it gives you something to focus on, a small source of light that offers comfort and hope. For those living with the complex web of symptoms, fatigue, pain, and cognitive fog that define Gulf War syndrome, the mind can sometimes become its own battleground. Placebos, in a way, help quiet that internal noise. They remind us of the mind's remarkable ability to influence the body, like a gentle hand guiding a boat through choppy waters. While they aren't a cure, they can create a space where healing feels possible, where the weight of the illness feels just a little lighter. It's a reminder that sometimes the power of belief itself can be a kind of medicine, soft, subtle, and deeply human. In moments when answers are hard to find, a placebo can be a small but meaningful step toward finding peace. 89. The impact of placebo effects on liver function. You might be surprised to learn how much your mind can shape your body, like a quiet whisper that somehow moves mountains. When it comes to liver function, the placebo effect is one of those subtle, mysterious forces that remind us how deeply connected our thoughts and physical health truly are. Imagine your liver as a diligent gardener, tending to your body's needs, filtering out toxins, and keeping everything in balance. Now, picture the placebo effect as a gentle rain, unexpected but nourishing, encouraging that gardener to work just a little more efficiently. Studies have shown that when people believe they're receiving a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, their liver enzymes can improve, as if the body responds to hope itself. It's not magic, but rather a testament to how belief can nudge our biology, like a breeze guiding a sailboat. This doesn't mean we can wish away illness, but it does suggest that optimism and trust in care might quietly support healing. So, while the liver does its steady work, the mind, in its own soft way, may lend a helping hand. 90. How placebos influence recovery from infections. You might wonder how something as simple as a sugar pill could ease the symptoms of an infection or even help your body heal faster. It's a little like imagining a soft whisper coaxing a storm to calm, seemingly small, yet profoundly impactful. Placebos work because they tap into the incredible power of your mind, which acts as a bridge between expectation and reality. When you believe you're receiving a treatment, even if it's just a harmless pill, your brain can release natural chemicals that soothe discomfort, reduce stress, and bolster your immune system. Think of it as flipping a switch inside you, turning on your body's own healing toolkit. This doesn't mean the infection isn't real or that placebos replace medical care, but rather that your mindset can gently nudge your recovery along, like a breeze guiding a leaf to land softly. It's a reminder that healing isn't just about what happens to your body, but also how you perceive and respond to it. Even in moments of doubt, your belief in the possibility of feeling better can be a quiet, steady force, helping you navigate the storm and find your way back to calm. 91. The placebo effect in treating glaucoma. You might think of the placebo effect as a kind of gentle magic, something that seems too simple to be real, yet it quietly works its way into the corners of our minds and bodies. When it comes to treating glaucoma, a condition that whispers tension into the eyes, the placebo effect has been shown to play a surprising role. Picture this: someone receiving a treatment they believe will help, a drop, a pill, or even a soothing routine, and their body responds, almost as though it's been given permission to heal. In studies, people with glaucoma who thought they were receiving active treatment sometimes showed improvements in eye pressure, even when they weren't. It's like the mind opens a little window of trust and the body steps through it. This doesn't mean the placebo effect can replace medical care, but it reminds us how deeply our beliefs and emotions are woven into our health. It's as if our thoughts and expectations can gently nudge our systems toward balance, like a breeze guiding a leaf to rest. So, while science continues to explore this, the placebo effect offers a soft reminder of the quiet partnership between mind and body, one that holds a kind of gentle, hopeful wisdom. 92. Placebos and their role in managing Crohn's disease. You might wonder how something as simple as a placebo, a harmless, inactive treatment, could possibly play a role in managing something as complex as Crohn's disease. The truth is, the mind and body share a connection far deeper than we often realize. Think of it like a quiet river. Sometimes, the subtle currents beneath the surface can shape the landscape in surprising ways. Placebos don't cure Crohn's, but they can tap into that connection, offering relief by gently guiding the mind toward a sense of calm and control. When someone believes they're receiving treatment, their body sometimes responds as if it's real, easing symptoms like pain or fatigue, even if only for a time. It's not magic. It's the power of expectation, hope, and the body's own ability to heal itself in small, meaningful ways. For those living with Crohn's, a placebo can be like a momentary pause in a storm, a chance to breathe and regroup. It doesn't replace medical care, but it can complement it, reminding us that healing isn't just about medicine. It's also about the quiet strength within us. 93. The placebo effect in treating Lyme disease. You've probably heard of the placebo effect, that curious phenomenon where believing something will help can actually make it so. It's like planting a seed in the mind and watching it bloom into something real, even if the soil itself was just a pretense. When it comes to treating something as complex and persistent as Lyme disease, the placebo effect can feel like a quiet ally, a gentle whisper in the background encouraging the body to find its own way toward healing. Imagine sitting by a window on a gray day, feeling the warmth of a cup of tea in your hands. It doesn't cure the weather, but it soothes you, shifts your perspective, and somehow, the world feels a little brighter. That's what the placebo effect can do. It's not a replacement for medical treatment, of course, but it's a reminder of how deeply our minds and bodies are intertwined. Sometimes, trusting in the possibility of improvement can nudge our systems toward calmer waters, even in the face of something as stubborn as Lyme. It's a gentle kind of magic, really, a testament to the quiet power of hope. 94. How placebos affect recovery from concussions. You may wonder how something as simple as a placebo, a treatment with no active ingredients, could have any real impact on something as complex as recovering from a concussion. It's like offering someone a blank canvas and watching as they paint a masterpiece. The mind has this incredible ability to shape its own reality. When someone believes they're receiving a treatment that will help them heal, their brain often responds as if it's true, creating a ripple effect that can ease symptoms and speed up recovery. Think of it as a gentle nudge to the body's natural healing process, a reminder that it's safe to repair and restore. For concussions, where symptoms like headaches, dizziness, and fatigue can linger, The placebo effect acts like a soothing balm, calming the mind and allowing the body to focus on healing. It's not a cure, but it's a powerful testament to the connection between belief and well-being, showing how hope and expectation can light the way through the fog of recovery. It's a reminder that sometimes healing begins not in the body, but in the quiet corners of the mind. 95. The placebo effect in managing endometriosis symptoms. You might find it surprising how deeply the mind can influence the body, especially when it comes to managing something as complex as endometriosis. Think of the placebo effect as a kind of gentle whisper, nudging your body to respond in ways that can ease discomfort, even if just a little. It's not about fooling yourself. It's more like tapping into a quiet reservoir of resilience that's always been there, waiting to be acknowledged. When you believe in a treatment, even if it's something without active ingredients, your brain can release its own natural painkillers or calm your nervous system, like turning down the volume on a persistent ache. For some, this effect becomes a bridge, helping them feel more in control in the midst of uncertainty. It's not a cure, nor does it replace medical care, but it can be a reminder that healing isn't always about what's outside. It's also about the conversations you have with yourself, the trust you place in the process, and the small but meaningful ways your body responds to hope. It's like lighting a candle in a dim room. It doesn't erase the darkness, but it makes it easier to see where you're going. 96. Placebos and their impact on recovery from kidney stones. Sometimes the mind can be like a gentle breeze, quietly shaping the way we experience pain and healing, especially when it comes to something as challenging as kidney stones. Imagine your body is a river, flowing steadily, but suddenly, a pebble, sharp and stubborn, gets stuck, disrupting the current. The discomfort can feel overwhelming, but here's where the mind steps in, almost like a soothing hand on your shoulder, offering a kind of quiet relief. Placebos, those harmless treatments that work because we believe they will, can act like a calming balm for the mind, easing not just the anxiety, but even the pain itself. It's as if the mere hope of recovery opens a door inside you, allowing your body to tap into its natural ability to heal. Studies have shown that even when people know they're taking a placebo, their symptoms can still improve, like a flower leaning toward the light, instinctively seeking relief. It's a reminder that healing isn't just about the physical. It's deeply tied to the stories we tell ourselves about what's possible. And sometimes, those stories, gentle and hopeful, can guide us through the storm. 97. The role of rituals and symbols in enhancing placebo responses. You might wonder how something as simple as a ritual or a symbol can have such a profound effect on how we feel, even when it seems like just a gesture or an object. Yet, think of it like a warm cup of tea on a chilly morning. Comforting, familiar, and somehow transformative. Rituals and symbols act as anchors, grounding us in moments of uncertainty or discomfort. They create a sense of connection, a bridge between what we experience and what we believe is possible. When a doctor wears a white coat or a healer uses a specific ceremony, these cues subtly signal to your mind that care is here, that something meaningful is happening. It's like flipping a switch in your brain, activating your body's natural ability to heal or soothe itself. Even the act of taking a pill, wrapped in the ritual of opening a bottle and swallowing, can amplify this effect. Your trust in the process becomes a quiet force, nudging your body toward relief. In this way, rituals and symbols aren't just empty gestures. They're small acts of faith, inviting you to lean into the power of your own expectations and hope. 98. Placebo effects in treating chronic sinusitis. You might find it surprising how much your own expectations can shape your experience with something like chronic sinusitis. How the mere belief in a treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, can sometimes ease your symptoms like a gentle hand loosening a tight knot. It's not that the placebo effect is all in your head in the dismissive sense. Rather, it's a reminder of how deeply your mind and body are woven together, like roots and soil, each influencing the other in quiet, unseen ways. When you feel relief after taking what you believe is medicine, it's not an illusion. It's your nervous system responding to hope, like a candle flickering to life in a dim room. This doesn't mean the discomfort wasn't real, only that your body has its own ways of finding balance. sometimes nudged along by something as simple as trust. And while placebos won't cure an infection or clear a physical blockage, they can soften the edges of suffering, like a warm cloth on a tired face, offering a glimpse of how much healing begins with the quiet power of belief. 99. How placebos influence recovery from joint replacement surgery. You might be surprised to learn how much the power of belief can shape your recovery after something as significant as joint replacement surgery. Imagine your mind as a quiet conductor, guiding the orchestra of your body's healing process. When you trust that a treatment, even a placebo, will help, your brain can respond by releasing natural chemicals that soothe pain and reduce inflammation, like turning down the volume on discomfort. Studies have shown that patients who believe they're receiving a potent medication often experience real improvements, even when the medicine is just a simple sugar pill. It's as if your optimism opens a door, inviting your body to step into a space where healing feels more possible. This doesn't mean the surgery doesn't matter. It does, deeply, but your mindset can be a gentle ally, working alongside the physical changes to help you regain strength and mobility. Think of it like adding a soft cushion to a sturdy chair. The chair is already there, but the cushion makes it more comfortable and inviting. So, as you move through your recovery, remember that your thoughts and beliefs are not just passengers on this journey. They're co-pilots, quietly helping you steer toward wellness. 100. The future of placebo research, harnessing the power of belief for healing. You know how sometimes just believing something will work can make it feel so, even when it's not what you expected? That's the heart of placebo research, a field that's uncovering the surprising ways our minds can influence our bodies. Imagine your mind as a quiet conductor, subtly guiding your body's orchestra of healing processes. When you truly believe in a treatment, whether it's a sugar pill or a hopeful word, your brain can release chemicals or shift signals that spark real physical changes. It's not magic, it's the power of belief, written into the fabric of how we're wired. Researchers are now exploring how to harness this potential in ethical, thoughtful ways, blending it with traditional medicine to create more holistic approaches to care. Think of it like planting a seed of hope. Nurture it with trust, and it might grow into something transformative. This isn't about tricking anyone. It's about understanding how deeply connected our thoughts and bodies are and using that connection to help heal. The future of placebo research invites us to see belief not as a weakness, but as a partner in wellness, a quiet force waiting to be gently awakened.